Yo, what's good, YouTube? So today's video is going to be a little interesting. I think it's going to be a pretty good one. It's more on the technical side, I feel like. On this channel, I'm a huge fan of UAD. I use their interfaces since 2014 when I was in college. But recently I've been hinting, probably my past like 5 videos that I came off of the UAD interfaces, and now I'm on Pro Tools Avid Carbon. And this technique is going to vary. I mean, you can kind of see on the screen my setup. Basically, this is a way for me to show a way to commit to your plugins that you have, because like you spend all this money on your plugins, like why not be able to use them or treat them like real hardware essentially, and get the most bang for your buck for the plugins, right? Like you might as well be able to use them while you're recording and during the recording process instead of just waiting for mixing post. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully this is like a cool technique. Like I said, this is going to vary. It's going to depend really on your computer and maybe the capabilities of your interface. Like maybe your interface already has DSP built in, but the plugins aren't as good, I guess, because there are some interfaces out there that do have DSP stuff like the Carbon or the UAD famously. But the plugins just aren't as good. So yeah, hopefully this is, will, give you a different perspective, or maybe you can kind of use this and figure out what works with your interface and your setup and your computer. But yeah, before we get in real quick, if you're new here, please, check out my other videos. If you like this video, consider subscribing. That would be great. We're almost at 1,000. We're slowly getting there. I've been saying that like every video, but we are getting there. And, like I said, check out my other videos. I have other great videos on here that I think that are really good and useful and helpful. And also, if you want to use any of the gear that you see, or, right now I'm recording through a Focusrite ISA dual preamp. I have all my affiliate links below. It would be great if you're going to buy them anyways. I would get a little kickback through the link if you use it. But yeah, that would be great. So anyways, if you're returning, I appreciate you like always. And yeah, let's get into the video. So basically, essentially what the UAD is, if you really break down what UAD is doing and how they have their setup with the console app, if you are familiar, basically the console app is where you handle all of the unison processing. Basically, you can read on their website like what all that means and stuff. Essentially, it's their way of adding analog sonics to your recordings while using their plugins, basically. And not all of their plugins are unison, but a lot of them are. I was a UAD user for a really long time. I kind of just got fed up with it. The whole idea of it is that you have this application that they provide, and your audio hits that application first, which is going through your interface, which is going through the DSP processing chips that are in the interface, right? And then after that, that process signal is routed into your DAW, and then that's where you handle everything. My only issue with that is that I hated switching between the console app and Pro Tools. I tried, the command tab or whatever. I got quick with that. I tried the dual screen. I just didn't like that because, if you didn't click on the screen where the console app was or Pro Tools was, you would try to do something in it, but you're locked in on this screen or whatever. But it already sounds complicated to me explaining, which is why I think that I just got really annoyed with it. And then there was a certain period of time where, for whatever reason, I could be working the same day, do a completely new session in the same day, and all of a sudden the console app like didn't want to launch. So, which happened a lot more often than usual towards the end of me like using UAD. So basically, I'll do it the way that is working with my system. So basically, first thing, make an auxiliary track, then make your audio tracks. In this case, I'm going to treat this as my audio track that I'm going to use to record. And I'm also going to do this in real time because I forgot to do this too. And if you're new to this, this might be a new way of showing you how to record differently. So I'm just going to do 2. We're going to call this, we'll call this nothing for now. We're going to call this record track because this is where the audio is actually going to be recorded to. I got a burp. We're going to call this lead 1 and we're going to call this lead 2. But basically what will happen is I hit record what I'm going to record, drop it down, record the next line, drop it down, right? Pretty standard. Like I said, if you're not familiar with this workflow, this might be new to you and it might be something you can implement, but I would assume most of you work this way. This is a more modern workflow. So DSP track is what I named it. You can name it whatever you want. Just know that its purpose is the most important thing. So auxiliary track feeds into my record track. There you can feed your reverbs, your delays, because in this case, time-based effects don't really matter if there's latency. This will make more sense later in the video what I mean, but they're time-based effects, so they're technically late anyway, so it's not going to affect you or the artist in their headphones because they're recording through stuff that's already delayed anyway. So they won't hear the difference. But basically, Avid has worked and does work with companies that make their own DSP plugins for Pro Tools, right? That's how I'm able to use the DSP that's built into the interface. Let's assume that I wanted to use an LA2A. Let me turn my live compressor so you can hear it. But basically, you can hear that I'm recording or monitoring, in this case, through a plugin. Let's say I wanted to record through this, right? Let's say I wanted a compressor, and I think they have their own pull tech. So I wanted to do a little bit of EQ, and I'm feeling crazy, so let's do a de-esser too, right? So now when I hit record, and let's not forget the effects, right? So boom, right? You can see that, and I'll show you an example of like how you can see that it's working. Let me expand these. Now let me bypass all this, and you can see that the waveforms are changing. And then just to prove to you that they're really changing, what if I just until I slowly turn it up, and then you can see that it is being affected and these plugins are being printed on here. So now you can see it's super compressed, the waveform is super small, and let me turn the effects off. But you get the point. So you can see that my plugins are being used in real time and they're being printed. So boom, there you go. Now we just recorded through our plugins, right? We're recording through our favorite plugins now. So yeah, like I said, I mean, I know that UA has their own way of coding plugins and trying to make them as sound as vintage as possible, and not saying that there's no truth into that, because they do sound good, but I'm not saying that this way is going to make you sound more analog. Me personally, that's not a sound that I'm trying to chase at all, but if that is something that you're trying to chase, maybe this is a way of doing it. Let's do the native way now. So it's pretty much a similar situation. It's just that I have to take this out of DSP modes. Now I'm doubled a little bit. There's a little bit of latency. But if you do this, then it really isn't there. I mean, it's there, but it's not as prominent, I guess. But similar thing. It doesn't really change the way you can still mic check testing 1 2. You can still see that I'm still able to record this. It's not like that much late. It's just your voice sounds a little bit weird, I guess. But if you're on a native system, that is what your clients are used to hearing. Cool. So like I said, it's really going to depend on your system, and you can see now all my plugins have showed up again because now I'm in native mode. Like I said, this is unique to me being on an Avid an HDX system. Yeah, so if you don't mind, or I'm sure like if you're already working this way, this might sound familiar to you and you might not even notice anymore, and especially if you work with a client that is used to working that way, they might even be used to it and they don't really mind. There's a lot of artists that don't mind because they know once they start using auto tune and all that stuff, they know there's going to be latency, but it is nice to not have to deal with that, which is funny because there's like a lot of videos at some point where like DSP's dead, is DSP dead and stuff. And it's like, I'm showing you why it's not dead and why it's not ever going to be dead. Well, I won't say ever because maybe we'll get computers that are so fucking fast that, then that's when it will be obsolete. But as of now, DSP is here to stay, and I'm showing you why. So hopefully this all made sense. I know this is a little bit longer video, but I think it's a cool video. I think it's important. Like I said, I think this will be very useful if you're on a native system, especially if you're thinking about hopping onto a DSP interface. Maybe this might change your mind, or maybe you'll hold out a little bit longer and kind of mess around with your own system. Like I said, this is all going to vary on your personal system, personally how you record. If you don't mind using, maybe switching out certain plugins or whatever, maybe this is the way for you to work now. So anyways, if this video helped you, please subscribe, share, like, whatever. Check out my other videos. That would be great. And if you like this topic, I guess, or more technical stuff, because I feel like this is definitely a more advanced way of recording and setup or whatever, because this is where you got to turn your engineer brain on, right? Like these are the kind of things that make us professional, or can make you professionals if you know workarounds like this, and trying to figure out how to trick the system or whatever the case is, you know what I mean? But these are the things that make us stand out a little bit more compared to others, or show artists or labels or whatever why you hire us, because we're able to come up with these workarounds. So yeah, if you liked it, appreciate you staying till the end. Like, share, use my links below if you want any of this shit that I have. And yeah, I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.